Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight Frightcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 24, which happens to be our end of the year 2017 celebration. I've got with me in the studio to my right, Josh.
Hello.
And then over the horn, coming through the radio waves that are the telephone system that we now have, is Greg.
Hey, phoning it in again.
You do phone it in quite often, don't you, Greg?
He sounded really weird there.
Around.
All right. So, yeah, we accomplished a lot this year, I think. As a group, we did a lot of stuff. Could have done a lot more, and I think we're going to get better with that in 2018.
18 will be more. It's the year of more.
The year of more. But, yeah, we did have a pretty successful year. Got some films done, some films almost done. But yeah, I think we had a pretty good year. What do you guys think?
A lot of movie watching. I think we killed the 31-day horror challenge again.
We did that.
That was fun. We did an extra challenge this year. It was in September.
Yep.
That 80s challenge.
It was
August. We did the 80s challenge, and it's created a good amount of content. And on the docket next year is, you said, the year of more.
Yep, the year of more. And
cool.
and we do have a post on the website, I believe, on what our plans are for 2018.
Yeah.
So at the end of this podcast, we'll pimp that out.
Pimp it out.
Pimp it out. Let's see. We had a couple.
It's a very vague post. I'll say that because I didn't want to give away too much. I was the one that actually wrote it, so surprise. I wanted just to kind of give everybody a taste of what's coming in 2018 because we've got some really cool things planned.
Yes, we do. And I think we're also going to try to hit the festival circuit a little bit more this year than what we did last year, which is going to. So look for news. All right. So we got through the holidays.
Yeah.
Last week we didn't podcast, of course, because who wants to podcast on Christmas? Not me. Anyway,
well,
what have you been up to then with your holidays there?
The holidays are like just busy now. That's all they are. I work retail, so I had Christmas off, and it didn't really feel like a day off because it was just like traveling, and then you go to your family's house, or in my case, with my wife's family's house also, and it's just you get 4 seconds to talk to somebody, and then you're busy again, and so it doesn't really feel like. It doesn't feel like I was having this conversation. It doesn't really feel like Christmas anymore. Remember when you were a kid? It felt like there's some excitement in the air. Now it's just like stressful, and your kids wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning when they sleep in the rest of the year, and you just want to. Yeah, it was a stressful day, but it was a good holiday, and everybody left happy, and that's all. I got some. Everybody left pretty happy. So, Greg, how was your holiday?
Holiday was good. I was back here in Nebraska this year, since this is our off year from usually spending it in sunny Southern California. So I got the winter side of it this year. I actually had a white Christmas, which was weird. That hasn't happened in a long time. We got to spend the holiday with Emily's family, so that was nice. I got to see a bunch of people on Christmas Eve, and then we went to a church service that evening where Emily performs, which was really cool. And then Christmas Day, we were over at her parents' again, and it was just the 4 of us, and it was chillaxed, and can't ask for anything much more than that. So it was a really good day watching some Christmas movies and just having a good time with the family.
Excellent. Gosh, that was weak. I don't know what the heck that was. I went to say excellent and had so much crap in my throat.
Excellent. It's his old age. You got to give him a second. He'll catch up.
No doubt. It's that dry mouth that I've got going on here. Yeah, Josh, I kind of agree with you. And it's like, when did Christmas kind of stop feeling like Christmas?
Yeah.
Where you have that magic type thing.
Yeah.
And for us, this year we decided, we've done this a few times where we decided nobody gets gifts. amongst the close family here, and we just paid for our flights down to Florida to see my daughter and my granddaughter.
Yeah,
and see their family. And to me, that's where I miss Christmas, because then I'm not out shopping, I'm not wrapping gifts, and I don't have any of that lead up to it. So there's none. So when the day came that we flew out to Florida, it's like I'm just going on vacation.
Yeah.
You know? But once we got down there, it was really, really cool. So I had a good time down there with the family.
Elizabeth and I were up till 2:00 in the morning wrapping gifts for our kids, and it's fun. I mean, it's kind of fun because I feel like that's like the one kind of fun moment we have, because we're up till and we're up late wrapping gifts, but like that's our kids are asleep, and that's our quiet, peaceful time, and we can watch a Christmas movie without the screaming and yelling behind us, and that's like it's the nice little moment that we do get. But yeah, then we got woken up at I think it was 6:00 in the morning. And so the rest of the day was kind of rough, but it's Christmas. So,
and I kind of think that as you get older, not sorry to interrupt you here, Josh, but
no,
I kind of think that as you get older, it becomes those series of those little moments where you don't go to bed all anticipating what Santa's going to bring you, all that, but you kind of come to appreciate those little things like wrapping the gifts for your kids, or taking those few minutes just to knock out a couple of your favorite Christmas movies in the quiet and the solitude, or even for me, sitting at home in the complete silence with the fireplace lit and the Christmas tree next to a window it's one of my favorite things to do during the holiday season. So, yeah,
it's nice. I really have nothing. As much as it seems like I have a ton to complain about, I really have nothing to complain about. So, yeah.
All right, so let's jump into really quickly.
We'll do
because normally we spend good 20 minutes on what we've been watching, but we're going to zip through it because we do have a couple other topics to talk about this evening.
Yeah, we have it's List Fest today.
List Fest, yeah, exactly. And so we're going to jump into what have you been watching?
Yeah, I have 5 things written down, but I 3 of the 5 things ended up on my 2017 list, so I don't want to talk about them because I'm going to talk about them.
Then just name them. I mean, you don't. I'm not going to
hit them twice.
Yeah.
I watched Stephen King's 1922. It was fucking phenomenal. It was so good. If you don't have that on your list, or if you have not watched that yet, it's on Netflix. It's an hour and a half ish of just easy watch. Thomas Jane is super good in that movie, and it's put it on your list, peeps, because it's a great watch. So 1922.
Are we going to go
let's do round robin
type thing here? Well, I probably have the least amount of things because I was down in Florida during the time that we were away from the podcast. So I actually got to see a lot of things like Doc McStuffins. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a children's show.
Okay.
About a young girl named Doc McStuffins that takes care of stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Runs a veterinary service for stuffed animals. Saw a lot of that
That's
while we were down there. Didn't get to see a lot of movies or TV or anything like that. So my list is pretty much done. So I'm going to just let Greg take over at this point.
Doc McStuffins. I'm adding it to my list.
Doc McStuffins.
Oh, how many you got, Greg? How many you got? Do you have a list?
A few.
Okay. I just okay.
Yeah, I took it upon myself to do a micro Christmas movie marathon just on my own. No competitions, no anything like that. Just something I wanted to do, and so I knocked out quite a few Christmas movies over the last couple weeks. I could just power through them really quick if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead and power through, and then I'll power through, and then we'll move on to our movie.
All right, powering through. So I watched Elf, Home Alone 2, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Krampus, The Santa Claus 1 and 2, Polar Express, Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, and then to round off, I watched and finished season 3 of Fuller House.
That is a list, dude. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn,
man.
Were you at work while you were doing this?
What's that?
Were you at work while you were doing this?
Yeah.
No. I had a free Saturday last week, and I just kind of went for it, and it happened. So, game on.
Wow. Well, so this is like what I watched. I kind of based off of what we talked about on the last podcast, which was the 2017 movies that we wish we had watched, but we hadn't seen yet. And so I took it upon myself to hunt down at least some of those movies on my list this last week and watch them. So the last four that I kind of smashed through this week was last night I watched Death Note, which was, again, Netflix is I believe that was a Netflix original. We talked about Netflix killing it this year. 1922 and Death Note, both Netflix originals, both smashed it. Death Note's a little weird. Wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But it's, again, a super easy watch. It's kind of slow in the beginning, so you got to give it a little bit of time. But once it gets going, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Final Destination, a little bit. But once it gets going, it's a lot of fun. I checked out Alien Covenant for the first time. I dug that a hell of a lot more than I dug Prometheus. Again, pretty easy watch, and just enough action to keep you entertained. I'll be excited to see. I think Ridley Scott's got at least one more in the Alien franchise to put in there. So Alien Covenant I watched. I watched Leatherface as part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It didn't work for me. It was. It might stand alone. Okay, but if you're putting it as part of the TCM franchise, it does not work at all whatsoever. So, and I just couldn't get that out of my head. And the last movie on my list is I watched Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem in Mother. And it was really, really great. So again, add that to your list if you have not seen Mother. If people I know either loved that movie or they hated that movie, I was in the love category. And there's a couple images in there that, I was warned about that really weren't as disturbing as they were built up to be. So powered through it, and it's a definite rewatch movie. So that's the end of my list. Boom.
So, Greg, you have anything left besides the Christmas movies?
Nope, that was it.
All right.
You want me to say Fuller House season 3?
Oh, but you kind of.
That was it.
I was going to say, you kind of said that was kind of a mistake to watch.
Oh, season 2 was the mistake. I ran my head into a brick wall several times watching season 3.
Okay.
Yikes.
Wow.
Do you think
the novelty has worn off?
Do you think they're done?
The way that they ended it, it kind of felt like they could be done. They could also continue on to a season 4.
Ugh.
If it does go to season 4, I will not be partaking unless I am either bribed or held to with a gun to my head.
Yeah, you think that was like a one season nostalgia kind of fix, and then it would have been done. I didn't think they were going to go as far as they've gone.
And that's exactly kind of what I had thought, and this whole bring back the stuff that we used to love era of whatever's going on in Hollywood. Give it the one, that's fine, okay. Don't try and make it a brand new thing because no.
Yeah, because they're doing it with Roseanne now.
It's bad.
Roseanne's coming back, and then Mad About You is coming back, and there was like one other one that came back. That I never watched, and I can't even think of the name of it. So,
well, I just recently read that there's rumors of The Office coming back. And
we talked about that. Yep. Yeah, The Office.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going to be so livid if that's actually true.
Yeah, because I just don't see how they can do it without Steve Carell, because they did say Steve Carell would. If it happens, it's not going to be part of it at all.
Yeah. So cool.
Well, they can do it. It's just going to be a gigantic shit show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's been long enough. Have we moved on? I mean,
I
and the actors have moved on, and they have other things to do, right?
Well, and the style that it is, where it's kind of like a mockumentary type thing, that's moved on as well.
Yeah.
Because about the only thing I can think of
The talking head style.
Right. About the only thing I can think of that still does that is Modern Family.
Okay.
They still do that.
There's that. There was Parks and Recreation in The Office that really, truly did it the best. And why would you want to try and bring that back? You're just, it's going to be a gigantic screw up.
Yeah. So
cool.
All right.
Should we hit our movie?
Yeah, but one quick thing. You would watch Death Note. And have you seen the original anime series?
I have not. I knew nothing about Death Note walking into it. I didn't know it was based off of anything. I knew William Dafoe voiced the demon. Mm-hmm. That was the extent of what I knew walking into this movie.
And I knew a little bit about it. My daughter watches anime, and Death Note was one of her favorites. And when she found out they were doing a live version, Netflix was doing that, she was really disappointed. She refuses to watch it. Okay. I think she needs to give it a chance. And little trivia here, they did make a musical out of Death Note.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The guy who did Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway did a musical of Death Note.
That could be interesting. I'd be curious to see how they are able to translate that onto stage.
On the stage, I have no idea.
But yeah, it was a fun watch, and
So it sounds like a lot of catching up. Towards the end of the year, then.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Normally we save the movie review that we picked for the last, but I think we're going to be able to zip through this one pretty quick and spend some time more on our third section of it. Last time that we met, that we did the podcast, right afterwards, we all were trying to figure out what movie we were going to do, and each of us had this in our queue. Yeah. And we all kind of said, okay, well, let's watch The Hatred. And
it's a 2017 release.
2017 release. And to tell you the truth, I went back and watched the trailer for it, and the trailer is really good.
It is really good.
The trailer is really good. So I think that's why we were all kind of said, yeah, that's probably a pretty good one to end the year on.
The trailer shows the scariest part of the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, which is unfortunate that they do that. You shouldn't give away, everything in the trailer. So... let me tell you a little bit about The Hatred. 4 young women travel to their college professor's new country home for a weekend getaway, only to discover that the house has a malevolent past. IMDb gives it 3.7 out of 10. When I jump over to Rotten Tomatoes, 15% on the audience score. And just wait, it gets better. The tomato meter is not available.
Oh my god!
For the tomato meter ranking.
Is this something we probably should have researched beforehand?
It was so bad that
That's what I'm wondering. I think maybe when we pick something, we should look.
Yeah, we might want to start researching the movies we watch now
beforehand, because
goals for 2018.
Yeah,
because I'm wondering if these ratings here are high. At 15% and 3.7.
Yeah, I think I
will have to say this. The best part of the movie was the first act.
Oof.
The setup.
Okay, yeah, we might have some banter then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I like the setup, and I wanted more with those characters. Once the 4 or 5 bimbo women showed up, I did not care about the rest. I checked out at that point.
See, that was the slowest part of the movie for me. Although all the history and everything was in the beginning part, it was really, that first 50 minutes of that movie was slow. It was really, I was really trying to keep in there, but it just would not move at all.
Right. And I'm going to go ahead and give the spoiler warning here, because I don't care if you watch this movie or not, you're going to hate it. So we're going to drop spoilers.
Don't
definitely the hatred.
Save yourself the time. Do not watch this movie. It's not worth it.
Okay. Let's. Who wants to start? Who wants to really start?
Oh,
start. Greg, we're blaming you, so you start.
I'll start.
You're blaming me for a movie that we all picked. All right, I'll shoulder it. Ready?
Oh, go ahead.
Here we go. All the emotion you'll ever feel for this movie is in the title.
So then shouldn't it be called The Hated, because we hated it so much instead of The Hatred?
No, because I felt so pissed off at myself, and I hated myself for watching.
All right.
It was the hatred for myself for picking this movie.
I got it. Yeah.
I will agree and disagree with what you had said, Patrick. When the 4 girls showed up at the beginning or the middle part of the movie or the second third of the movie, whatever that was, you get no emotion from any of them. There was the scene, I picked this out while we were watching it, right there towards the end, where she finds her friend tied up on the bed, and I assume she was dead. If anybody can clarify that for me.
She was hanging herself from her bedpost, so yeah, she was dead.
Okay, so yeah, she goes in there, she sees her friend dead hanging from her bedpost. The next scene is her calmly talking with Irene about trying to escape and all that. Didn't you just see your friend dead there? Would that not elicit any emotion at all? Anything. I don't know. I was bored by these characters. They were flat. I could not give two shits about any of them. Kind of wish they all had died. The part where I disagree with you, Patrick, is at the beginning where you actually felt like there was a good setup. To a certain extent, I kind of agree. But again, the acting was so flat and the characters just did not elicit enough emotion for me to really give two rips about them. Even when he's jamming his daughter's face into the horse trough, drowning her.
Now imagine
there was nothing there.
Imagine that whole setup though, done entirely to music, no dialogue. I think it could have been done and been like super effective.
And kept that long?
Not quite that long, no.
Okay.
But I think take out the dialogue. You can see what's happening. Just keep it with music. That he's this guy, German. He receives this crap from Hitler. All this could have been done in music. You could see the tension between him and his daughter. Blah 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 blah. He goes ahead and kills her. All that crap, and then like the wife killing him kind of came out of nowhere.
That was kind of cool though.
But I still liked it, and the way it happened, I thought was pretty cool. But I think that it could have been shortened down to like 10 minutes with no dialogue.
Oh yeah,
and it would have probably been more effective.
Because
that was going to be my second point to that was 20 minutes for an opening.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a bit long.
Me? Yeah. I think it was 27.
Yeah, because I remember reading it was like almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, that first opening was longer than any opening that ever exists anywhere. It was long. Yeah,
learn to kill your darlings, or change the story so that you can bring some of that back in later on. Because I felt like that could have actually made some really cool points to later on in the movie. Instead of hearing the all the whispers and things like that, maybe going to like flashback sequences or little hypnotic whatevers. The thing that really pissed me off about this movie was that it teetered on the edge of being interesting and disinteresting to where I felt like I was actually sitting there watching a movie. There was nothing about it that sucked me in, but there was enough there to find out. I just kind of want to see what happens next. Let's just see what happens when she goes through this door, when Irene crawls through the doggy door. Don't get me started on that scene.
How many times could they say doggy door?
She said it a few.
She said
more times than they needed to.
Exactly. No, go through the doggy door. Just over and over and over. Fuck off.
The two things that I've taken away from this movie were not the plot or the theme, was that these girls are fucking alcoholics, drinking wine or wanting to drink wine all the time, and that you can escape through a doggy door and be safe. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
They also like farm boys.
I will.
And plaid.
What's that?
They also like farm boys in plaid.
Yes, that is true. Very true. I will, because I hate dogging on movies. No pun intended with the doggy door comment. I do hate dogging on movies because, yes, this is somebody's baby and somebody's put the time and effort into creating this. There was one positive that I found in this movie was the cinematography. I thought they did really, really well for setting up different scenes and how certain scenes looked. They didn't follow through with the story and the acting aspect.
Yeah.
When it came to some of the, I don't want to say jump scares, scary scenes, I don't know what I'm looking for. Did it seem to either of you, it was like, hey, I saw this in a movie, let's do this?
Jump scares, though, really anymore aren't even original.
Right.
These jump scares are hard to like come up with original jump scare. I mean, you could say the same thing for a handful of films that have come out even this year that were Hollywood films that didn't really have creative jump scares. It's hard to come up with something original for that.
I guess what I mean by this more than anything is they seem disjointed, not tied together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they would use like I don't even know what to call that. I mean, was that Alice, the demon type character?
The demon was Alice. Yeah.
Right. The one that was Irene and then became the demon.
Yeah.
So that was all Alice and stuff like that. It's like there wasn't consistency between some of this stuff. It was kind of like, oh, this is how it was handled in another movie. Let's do it that way instead of trying to make it their own take on it. Because
it
we're all
felt
gonna...
kind of like a highlight reel of the best scares from horror movies past.
Okay.
I think that's kind of what you're saying. Right,
yeah,
Patrick?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that bed scene where she's on the bed and then under the bed and then up on the bed, has been done. Throw a rock and hit a movie. It's been done in that movie. It's not original, but
I like that bit though.
I
like that bit though where she's talking to Irene. She's look under the bed, look under the bed.
Yeah,
and she looks under the bed, and Irene's down under the bed. She goes, "That's not me up there."
It's really effective.
It
though.
was
it's
very
not original,
effective.
but super effective.
I will say that was probably the most effective thing for me in this movie.
And that's what I'm talking about. The trailer. That's in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part of the trailer right there. That sucks you in real quick to watch that movie. Is that trailer kicks ass?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop some notes really quick.
No.
If y'all don't mind. I already said 50 minutes. Took way too long. That pace was way too long to set up. There was some good creepy imagery in this movie, and that location was fantastic. That house shot on location that'd be a lot of fun to shoot in.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. These are my positive notes that I'm bringing to the table because everybody was going to shit on it.
We gotta try some positive notes, I guess.
The storytelling wasn't original. It was pretty typical, straightforward as far as the story went. I thought there were some good jumps. We already talked about the jump scares. The bed was the best part of the whole movie, and I thought it picked up in the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes of that movie, when everything started to kind of like cook and go,
right?
I thought that was at least partly enjoyable. And
did it make up for what you had to sit through, though?
God, no, it did not even close.
All right.
But Greg talked about this is somebody's baby and this is somebody's darling.
I was just thinking that. I felt guilty after he said that.
And I'm glad he brought that up because I will tell you whose baby and whose darling this was. This baby and darling belongs to Malik Akkad, and he is the producer of the 2000 Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. And his dad was Mustafa Akkad, who was the producer of John Carpenter's Halloween movie. So that's whose darling and whose baby we're crapping on right now, who does have a name and who has made some good content and has made some good stuff.
Wow.
He just dropped the ball on this one. So
it's shame on him for dropping a deucer.
He dropped some money on kind of a deucer, but he believed in it enough to drop enough money into a movie that clearly had some funding behind it. And again, it's actors who are unknown, so at least they're not safe,
right?
And I thought the original three, like you said in the beginning, were probably the best actors in the movie. The guy that played the dad in that movie plays the Jinn in all the Wishmaster movies. So he's got some...
was he the guy that was also an American Werewolf in London?
No.
Who was that? Because I saw him...
Irene's father.
Is
the guy from American Werewolf in London.
Right.
Yeah, the guy who played the dad in the beginning, the Nazi father, was... He's done some character work.
Now, did you notice who played Irene's mother?
No, I didn't. She was in for like 4 seconds. I didn't even pay attention.
The actress from Nightmare on Elm Street.
The
original.
Not Heather Langenkamp. Not that. Which actor from Nightmare on Elm Street?
Gosh.
We're gonna look it up.
I'm gonna have to look it up because I'm trying to remember her name now.
Because I would have recognized unless she's completely
not
changed.
Nightmare on Elm Street. What am I thinking? I'll have it in a bit.
That's cool. we get Greg. Burn some time.
Yeah.
Pick another movie. Actually, don't.
What's
don't,
the what?
Yeah, don't pick another movie.
No, see, this is going to be the 2018. What?
I was going to say Amanda Wyss, who was in The Nightmare Before Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Yep.
Who does she play in it?
Yes. She was the lead actress in it.
Heather Langenkamp was the lead
Nancy.
actress in Nightmare on Elm Street. She might have been one of the friends, but Heather Langenkamp was definitely the lead actress in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
And I'm sure you're right on that. She played Tina Gray.
Okay, Tina, yeah, which was a friend, was one of the friends.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah.
But she had a face I recognized.
Okay,
from
gotcha.
It.
So there were some faces in the movie.
There was
too.
a couple
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah.
And the other thing I thought was really cool in this movie actually was the father's get up when he was out fumigating.
That was cool. Yeah.
Because I could see something like that carrying over into an actual character.
Yeah, it was a little bloody. It was a little My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
With the mask.
Yep.
But it was again, that was really cool to look at too. Yeah. Pretty effective.
And it also led to a pretty cool kill, which I thought when his wife took it apart.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stuffed the thing into the air hose.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I thought that was a pretty sweet
But
kill.
she did that. I think that was pre-planned because he was falling down before she even got to him. Like she had clogged it up or something to go up into his face beforehand. And then that was like a finishing it off point.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if shit, what's her name? The ghost girl in the movie, Alice. I actually kind of wonder if that was her, if that was Irene that left at the end of the movie in the car with Reagan, or if that was the spirit took over her and left with her, and that's kind of a continuation.
Well, let's hope there's not another one.
No.
Well, funny you should mention that. I was actually poking around on IMDb before I called, and they said that it looks like they're planning a sequel.
Ugh.
Which is terrible, but it makes sense because there was no real conclusion to the story.
Right.
Yeah, they just drove away. There was no concluding thing. The amulet never was revealed in the wall, even though they showed it 16,000 times.
Well, they showed an empty hole in the wall at the end of that movie.
I did not.
Yeah, where the amulet
probably checked out by that point.
Yeah, where the amulet I think had been. I think it had been removed and taken.
Oh, see, because I just thought it was I thought it was like a burn imprint on the wall of the emblem.
Okay, well, maybe
I didn't see it that way.
I thought it was a hole in the wall and it had been taken. So yeah, I guess the ending is interpret it on your own.
Yeah, because kind of the way I felt is that they're leaving it open so more shit can happen at the house.
Okay,
was the way I kind of
probably.
So I think we're all in agreement that it was probably not one of our best movies of 2017.
No. Does anybody want to take the time to rank that movie?
It's a solid 2 for me. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it takes to get a 1.
I'll give it a 2 as well, as in a deuce.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I would have. I thought the 3 that IMDb gave it was pretty fair.
Okay.
So, you know,
the 3.7.
Oh, I'm not going to give it that 0.7.
Oh, okay.
No way.
All right.
But I'll give it the 3.
I'll give it no, not a 3.7. Yeah.
Jeez, that's being too nice.
I watched this movie. I watched this movie just before calling you guys, and Emily actually watched this entire movie with me.
Oh wow!
God.
And she does not watch horror movies. So I don't know if that tells you anything.
So she was able to sit through it, is what you're saying? Is that it wasn't frightening, scary, or anything like that?
Me.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Okay, well that's the final movie of 2017 for us. I wish we would have found something else, and there was one that actually hit my list for the next section here that I wish I would have suggested because it was killer and jumped immediately to my top 3.
All right. Well,
So-
this will be. I'm going to enjoy this section.
Yeah,
actually.
so we're moving on to the next section.
Yeah.
We did this last year.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing to do is that we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about our top 10 horror movies of 2017.
Yeah.
And I don't know, last year did we try to pick one that was an overall best of the year? I'm gonna keep track of what we say here
I
and see
feel
which
like-
one comes up the most. See what our top 5 are. Or
I feel
whatever.
like last year our top 3 kind of were the same. So we kind of landed on the same movie, I think. I
Right.
feel like that. Maybe not. I don't know what we would have seen last year that was all the same. But
when we do that horror challenge, that really helps us out
Yeah.
a lot. Didn't help me this year because I did 2016 movies.
yeah.
What am I doing? I'm kicking myself in the ass.
You're always a year behind.
Yeah. So here's my top 10 movies for 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, who wants to go first on this?
Greg, did you do horror movies alone, or did you mix it up? Because we talked about this.
I wrote down horror movies. There's been way too many movies for me to have seen this year to really narrow down. So I'll stick with the horror. I've got 6 that I can talk about.
Okay. So
So-
we'll do.
I've got a full 10.
Did you rank them in order of the 6, Greg, or did you just write down 6?
I currently have 6 written down, but I can rank them really quick.
Okay.
It'll be
Well,
difficult.
Patrick and I will do 10 through 7, and
Yeah.
then you pick up with 6 with you. So while we're
Sounds
doing
good.
while we're doing
See you in a
10
bit.
through 7, why don't you rank your 6? Is that fair?
Can do.
Okay.
That's good.
Patrick, you want to start? Or you want me to go?
I'll go ahead and go.
Okay.
Hell, number 10 for me was Phoenix Forgotten.
God, I didn't get to see it. Damn
You know,
it.
it's one of those that there's not a ton of alien movies out there or
Yeah.
alien related style movies like that, abduction, things like that. And you know, every once in a while, one of them pops up that just captures my attention.
Okay.
Just a little bit of a different take on it. Of course, it was found footage type thing, so
Yeah.
there's some parts that were a little hard to watch for me because sometimes I think it just they get a little too jittery. And there was towards the end of this movie, it was really really kind of tough to watch. But still, I just for me, I want to see more alien related stuff because I just don't think that it's a genre that's handled very often.
It's it's a genre that it doesn't come up too often.
Yeah, so
there's a couple here and there on Netflix, I think.
yeah, so that's my number 10 is Phoenix Forgotten.
Okay, well, talking about alien movies, my number 10 was Alien Covenant. I thought Ridley Scott did a fantastic job. I liked it a hell of a lot more than I liked Prometheus. I thought Michael Fassbender did a fantastic job as both
yes.
David and Walter.
Yes, definitely.
And Danny McBride was fantastic in this movie also, because I don't really know him in really anything outside of comedy. And he didn't really play that part in this movie. He was a straight character. I thought he was going to be the comedic character that just is a body count kill and dies right away. And he lasted the whole movie for the most part.
About 3/4 of the movie.
No, he lasted
a little bit longer than that. Yeah,
he was one of them.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic. So
I love it. I love watching comedic actors come out and do something like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they can handle comedy, they can handle anything else.
he had
Comedy
chops.
is hard.
Yeah, he's really good.
But yeah, I really liked what he did.
Yeah, so Alien Covenant is a definite is going to go in my collection.
I think it's going to go in ours as well because Rachel has every Alien movie made.
Yeah, I have them.
So-
I have all 6 now as well. So
All right.
yeah,
My
number
num-
9.
My number 9, even though I was a little disappointed with some of the stuff in it, I put Rings in there, in the mix. And the only reason I was a little disappointed because I think they could have done just a little bit more with it. It became a little bit formulaic partway through. I just think they really had an opportunity to run with it, and I think they kind of got close to the finish line but not quite crossed it.
It was in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I did that because I had a hard time making this list. But yeah, it was very standard Rings. It was very there was nothing really new brought to the table for it.
Right.
But it was nice to see a new one come out.
It really was.
My number 9 was 47 Meters Down. Shark movies. Last year, I think I had The Shallows on my list. And that was great. I thought 47 Meters Down blasted The Shallows out of the water as far as tension building goes. And the two actresses that were in the movie the whole time underwater did a fantastic job. It did a really great job just building tension, had some nice scares in there. I'm not really a shark movie lover, but the last 2 years there's been a shark movie on my list. So, 47 Meters Down.
All right. My number 8 surprised me. It was actually in my honorable mention, and then as I was looking at the list more and more, it kept creeping up. And it was something that we watched and we reviewed later in our year, Gerald's Game.
Okay.
Netflix original. Just because I'm a big Stephen King fan, and I completely appreciate when someone's able to take one of his stories and make a good movie out of it. There's been too many crap movies of his books and stories that I really do appreciate when someone does a really good job with it. And I felt this one was a pretty solid movie for Stephen King.
Gerald's Game also ended up in my honorable mentions.
There you go.
So, number 8 for me was Annabelle Creations.
And that was my honorable mention.
I hated Annabelle. I hated Annabelle with a passion. There's nothing I could like about that movie. So I was really hesitant walking into Annabelle Creation, and they did something to that movie that just made it really, I'm going to say it, they made that movie really scary. There's a lot of really great moments in that movie. They did a great job building the tension and the jump scares in that movie. The character development for Annabelle was great, and it fits right there in the Conjuring universe with the rest of them. Annabelle Creations was a lot of fun. That's my number 8.
All right, number 7.
We're getting there, Greg.
Number 7 for me was...
Wait. I actually have a 7th one. I found a 7th one.
Then we'll let Greg go.
Woohoo! All right, so my number 7 actually went back into our 31 Days of Horror challenge just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and in fact, I did. I missed the movie Be Afraid.
Okay.
It comes in at my number 7 because I remember nothing about it. So, in the sake of that instance, number 7.
Wow.
But it's like I watched it, so it's on my list.
You know, he mentioned the name, and I don't remember the movie.
I don't think I saw it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, hang on. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I've got the synopsis, or at least what there we go. Okay, here's what I wrote in our 31-day challenge. I wish this movie was exciting as the synopsis sounds. Before I go down the negative road, the movie has some redeeming qualities, good-looking shots, actual creepiness with the entities, and a story which wasn't mediocre. Sadly, it's sporadically dispersed between a Hallmark movie, a very slow-moving Hallmark movie. This build is effective, but it takes too long to get it to feel too much. Wow. Takes too long to get to wow. To get it with too much feel-good, tug-at-your-heart moment. Watch it if you're desperate for a horror movie, but don't make it a priority.
All right. That's
Number
probably a reason we didn't watch it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Do you want to do your 7?
Yeah, I'll go. My number 7 was The Babysitter, which we all watched. And as far as I know, we all loved. This is where I started having a tough time because I started doubling up on numbers. Like, this movie could fit here or this movie could fit here. For me, it was The Babysitter or it was Better Watch Out. We talked about both. The characters in The Babysitter were way more, they were better developed, although there were better moments and Better Watch Out for me. But I did go with The Babysitter ultimately as my number 7.
All right. My number 7 is a little cannibalism movie, Raw.
Okay, honorable mention for me.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that one, I don't know what was so appealing about it to me, but because it wasn't in essence strictly horror, but yet it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
so for me that it was very effective movie.
It made a lot of people's lists this year, and for me, like, it was. I think I followed that movie for a long time, and it was super built up as far as like people are running out of this movie, out of the theaters, throwing up and puking, and it's so gross. And then I watched it, and I was like, I don't have an iron stomach, but this movie is not making me throw up at all.
No,
it was a little gross.
I've seen worse.
Yeah. So I think that's where my disappointment went for Raw, and why it didn't creep up into my list was because it didn't hit on all the building that it came with.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Greg, number 6.
Number 6 is another movie that I remember a little about, not a lot. It's called Little Evil.
Oh yeah.
Adam Scott, Evangeline Lilly. It was decent, but again, it comes up number 6 because I remember a little bit more about it than I remember about Be Afraid.
I think we all liked that movie too. We all watched it and reviewed it, and
for being a little horror comedy, I think we all got a kick out of it.
We all had some fun with it. Yeah. So
it wasn't bad. Adam Scott was entertaining, but I think he's done some better stuff. Krampus, for instance.
Yeah, Krampus
Krampus
was definitely better.
I think we all got a kick out of his coworker.
Yeah, the lady.
The really butch lady.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
My number 6 is The Girl with All the Gifts, and it landed there because I actually just handed it to Patrick. I'm giving that to him to watch. It's a zombie movie, but it's not really a zombie movie. They're not the focus of the movie. There's great characters in this movie. Glenn Close does a really fantastic job in the movie. It's kind of in the vein of 28 Days Later, but it doesn't move as fast as 28 Days Later. But I think the characters are better in this movie than that movie. So, The Girl with All the Gifts, again, it's an hour and 50 minutes. It does move kind of slow. They could have probably cut some out of there, but it's just like for a zombie movie that does not focus on the zombie, it's a really great movie. So,
yeah, I was just telling Josh earlier before we started the podcast that I'd seen the trailer for that for the very first time, and I'd not seen that before. So, and then he comes walking in and hands me the DVD. And I'm like, oh, very cool.
It was a 2016 movie, but it was a 2017 release, so I counted it.
Number 6 for me is one that Josh has already mentioned, and that is The Babysitter. I just really enjoyed that one. I thought it was well thought out, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's still on Netflix. So if you have a chance to see that, check that one out. All right, moving on.
Sorry.
Number 5,
Gregory.
Greg.
This was a tough one for me to decide because between number 5 and number 4, I consider it a toss-up. I gave this one number 5 ranking. I probably should have given it a higher ranking just because of what it was for me. Was the movie It? It was decent. I enjoyed the not horror aspects because I thought the horror aspects were a little corny for my liking. But I appreciated that I was able to overcome a childhood fear going and seeing it. So It gets number 5.
It gets number 5. My number 5 was a movie I've already mentioned. I watched it recently. It was Stephen King's 1922. Again, Thomas Jane just does a fantastic job. The story's great. He built some great characters. It was this again was a number where I could have gone 1922 or I could have gone Gerald's Game because they were both great. I knew nothing about both of them, and I was equally happy I watched both of them. I just thought 1922 at the end of the day was a better story, and it was easier of a watch for me than Gerald's Game was. So I went 1922 for my number 5.
All right. Now, the one that I put at number 5, I'm doubting myself if it was a 2017 movie.
Ooh. All right.
Train to Busan.
It's 2016.
Damn it.
I looked it up before I came over here. It was going to end up on my list too. But you watched it in 2017.
But I watched it in 2017. For some reason, I was thinking it was a 2017
I
movie.
believe it was 2016.
Well, then that actually changes my list because I can't count it as one of the movies for this year. So my number 10 then is now Annabelle Creation, and everything else shifts.
Okay.
Okay.
Annabelle Creations you liked?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you see Annabelle?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And between the two, I like Creation better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gregory, number 4.
Yes, sir. Number 4. I went with this one. Again, had a tough time trying to decide between it at number 5 and this one at number 4. I went with this one at number 4 because I really liked the story better than I did it. And number 4 was Gerald's Game.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Gerald's Game pretty much, that landed on all of our lists for the most part.
Yeah, because you had it on your...
It's on my honorable mentions, yeah.
Right.
Is that it, Greg?
Yep, that was all I had.
Okay. My top 4, I'll say this. My top 4, any of these could have been... I made 6 variations of my list. I'll say that right out of the gate. My top 4, it could have landed anywhere depending on what day I was making this list. So my number 4 was Mother. Mother, I will loan it to anybody, and everybody should watch it. It's so weird. It's such a weird movie, and I would encourage everybody to watch the special features on it as well, as far as like how they built the house that it was shot in and why they built certain rooms to look certain ways, and just the idea behind how and why they built the house the way they did, because the house was a character in this movie. And I talk about Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence, but Michelle Pfeiffer was fantastic in this movie. Ed Harris was really great in this movie. And it just, like, there's a lot of, like, just undertones of this movie that make you think about how we treat our planet, and just, yeah, I really wish I could have been in, shit, now I can't think of his name, who made this movie, in his head, Darren Aronofsky. I really wish I could have been in his head when he was writing this movie and what he was thinking. They also, like, rehearsed this movie for like 3 months. It was a really long process to make this movie. And you could see it all. You could see it all on screen. So I just really, really enjoyed this movie, and I at least you two, I encourage you guys to watch it because I'd really like to know your thoughts on the movie, and really if it is a movie that you could either really love or you really hate. There's no in between. So Mother. For nostalgic reasons, this one is at number 4, even though I thought it was a great movie regardless. It is it's high on my list. And I can't wait till Chapter 2. Yeah, and I would just say, not this coming Tuesday, it's January 9th is the Blu-ray release of it. So it's coming. And then 2019, I believe, is Chapter 2. So we do have to wait a whole other year.
Yeah, I know,
to get that movie. I
can't believe they didn't think that was going to be a successful movie. That they waited on it. Yeah, well, I'd rather them wait and do it right than rush it into production because kids are getting too old and they're growing. Right. And then just screw it up. So yeah.
Because rushing movies is always the best decision. DC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Number 3, Greg.
Number 3, I believe you both have mentioned this, but now it's my turn, is Netflix The Babysitter. Really, really fun horror comedy, exciting, really cared about all the characters, which is really important, and it was a fun watch.
Okay. Yeah, my number 3. And again, it's could have ended up anywhere depending on what day I made this list. But my number 3 is Split. I thought. You got to give me a little bit because it took me. It's been a little while since I watched it. But I thought. Give me the name of the filmmaker, Patrick. No, I can't think of his name.
M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah, Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan was definitely back with Split. He made some stinkers in between this movie, but he hit it out of the park with Split. The world that it lives in, it's been out long enough that we can talk about the world that it lives in as far as it going right along with Unbreakable. I can't wait till he puts those two worlds together and brings that movie out. It's just a really solid watch. And again, I can't think of the actor's name, but the 22 characters that he plays in this movie is just watching him do that is
James McAvoy.
McAvoy.
Was a clinic, an actor's clinic. So yeah, great movie.
Now,
fantastic.
We discussed this when we reviewed Split, saying that it would be insane if he did not get an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, and James McAvoy or M. Night?
James McAvoy.
Okay. I just don't like. I don't think that this genre is. They have their own awards. This genre is crapped on and just pushed to the side so much that it's not. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, yeah,
but it should, and we all know it should. And it's the same thing when we talked about Andy Serkis doing
Andy Serkis,
Kong
exactly,
and Planet of the Apes. All the characters he plays that he won't get nominated for because they don't think it's real acting. It's just garbage. So, yeah, Split number 3.
Okay, number 3 for me went from unknown. In one day went from unknown to number 3 on my list.
Okay,
Creep 2.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that just came out on
That
Netflix.
just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, it's out there.
And let me tell you, Mark Duplass, holy shit.
Really?
That guy's amazing.
I have not seen Creep yet,
Okay.
so I have to catch up now and watch both those movies.
Creep is a weird movie, and it kind of takes a little bit to kind of get into.
Mm-hmm. But
it
pays
got a
off
pretty
in the end.
satisfying payoff at the end.
Yeah. And this one starts off pretty intensely.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
yeah, but like I said, Mark Duplass, just I don't think I've seen anything of his that I don't like.
What else has he done? You know, off the top of your head.
Yeah, Creep. He did Creep.
Yeah, cool Creep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's high. That's really high.
He was one of the main characters.
That seems really high to me. So now I have to watch it because a number 3 movie behind a huge blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
Now I have to chase that movie
See?
and watch it because it's so high on your list.
No. You know, because Duplass, the Duplass brothers, they do a lot of independent movies. They have the attitude, you want to make a movie? You fucking make a movie. You know?
Yeah.
And they find ways to do all these independent things. They started off really small. I mean, like what we do. And they've just been hitting really, really good things. So yeah.
I'll chase it.
Josh,
Yes, sir.
do you remember the movie that came out that was in, I think it was Sundance because it was shot on, well, it wasn't because of it, but it was in Sundance and was shot on an iPhone, a movie called Tangerine.
Yeah, Tangerine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tangerine.
These are the guys that did it.
That
They
was-
made
that was
Tangerine.
the-
Okay.
That was the Duplass
I got you.
brothers.
All right, gotcha.
Mark and Jay Duplass.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do recommend that one highly.
All right. Creep 2's on the list.
Yeah, its sequel makes it onto the list.
I know, right?
I think that's awesome.
Gregory Hines. Number 2.
Number 2 is I'm considering it a very special one because I didn't jump on this train until
No, that was in
I had
2016.
borrowed the disc. Shush. Until I had borrowed the disc from Josh. There's a movie called 47 Meters Down.
Yeah.
Was absolutely just blown away by this. I don't normally get into the shark type movies, but this one just was incredibly shot, had all the suspense and all the tension, and really was, I wouldn't even consider it a shark horror film. It was just a horror film with sharks involved.
Yes, it's thriller. So, definitely thriller, but it's
For sure, thriller. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it lives in that genre though, that horror genre. They go hand in hand. So yeah, 47 meters down was great. So, is that it, Greg?
that is all.
Okay, number 2 for me, you guys have already mentioned, but it sits high on my list because I dug the crap out of it. My number 2 is It. So, I thought that was as highly anticipated as that movie was. It definitely came through for me. I hated a lot of the imagery that we saw before it came out. I know Greg really hated the look of Pennywise, and I don't know if he still does or not. I don't remember we talking about that or not.
Yes, he still does.
Still does. He still hates the look of Pennywise. I thought the look of Pennywise was great, that old-timey clown. I thought Bill Skarsgård did a fantastic job as Pennywise. I thought all the kids were great. Yeah, I have 2 Stephen King. I have 3 Stephen King movies technically on my list.
You do.
So yeah, there's number 2 for me was It.
Good year for Stephen King.
Yeah,
I guess it helps be run over by a car at some point in your career. Number 2 for me has already been mentioned by Josh, and that is Split. Once again, McAvoy it was just amazing to watch him.
Yeah.
And I don't know the young actress's name. Everybody was solid in that movie. I mean, it was just an excellent movie.
She had a good year too because she was in The Witch the year before.
Yes, that's exactly
and then
right.
came out and did Split. So she had 2 really huge movies that came out back to back.
Which brings us to our number 1 choices. One.
Greg, number 1.
Sorry, that actress's name, I was just looking it up since you were mentioning it here. Her name is Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And she had a great couple years.
My number 1, can I get a drum roll? Don't do that. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
I can't do drum roll.
Was the movie Get Out?
Yep.
Just
Can we just all say
I
it?
heard good things about
number
it.
1 was Get Out for everybody.
My number 1 was Get Out.
It's Get Out. Go, Greg. Keep going.
It was one of those movies where you hear some great things about it, but you really I almost kind of hesitate when I hear people talk so highly about it, because if I'm going to go in there and expect this high stuff, is it going to live up to it? And this one was it just blew me out of the water. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
I find that interesting that all 3 of us chose that as our number 1 movie. So that must mean that it really struck a chord with all of us.
Yeah.
So.
We talked about before we started this. Are we going to have an actual a finalized number 1? Like, are we going to have the pick movie of the year that we're all going to agree on? And it just happened.
Because I was just thinking that because I was keeping track of the movies that are on all of our lists.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 other movies that are on all of our lists.
What's the other 2?
It.
Okay.
The Babysitter.
And The Babysitter, which is, I think, is a fantastic top 3. And they're all such different genres.
They really are.
They're all so different. So, yeah, Jordan Peele did. He killed it, and that dude can now come out and make any movie he wants to.
Yeah.
He could pitch anything, and they'll be like, "Yep, here's the money. Go make."
He's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan many years later.
Yeah,
because like Sixth Sense hit, and he could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
Now it's Jordan Peele's turn, and I hope he doesn't have those horrible ones that Shyamalan had. But
I think he's going to take his time.
Yeah,
he's not going to just I don't think he's going to ride the wave. He's going to sit and he's going to make sure he does it right. And the next thing he comes out with is going to. I think he's trying to hit him out of the park every single time he comes to bat. So, but yeah, Get Out was, I think, everybody's movie of the year.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. Yeah. It's amazing.
You don't even have to be a horror fan.
You don't
to watch that movie
because it's more of a thriller than a
really
horror.
Is.
Thriller, yeah.
Yeah.
Emily's asking me if it's Emily recommended. Guys?
Yeah, because it's not really scary.
And it's not... And
it's just like the idea of it is terrifying.
Right.
And it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, and it's... I mean, there's not the horror sense in the blood and guts and all that other stuff, so if that's what, she doesn't like, she doesn't have to worry about that in this one.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Emily recommended.
Yeah, I think so.
Is Emily safe?
I agree. I would agree, but I wanted her to hear it from somebody other than me, so thank you.
That's our top 10.
That's our top 10. I'm sitting there trying to think back on what our number 1 was last year. And I was thinking it was probably Don't Breathe.
It might have been Don't Breathe. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if it was Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
Because Fede Alvarez came out swinging on that movie, too.
Yeah. So that's our top 10 of the year of 2017.
Oh, now it's over.
Now it's over.
Shit.
And so, off the top of your head, what movie are you looking forward to in 2018?
I knew you were going to fucking do that to me. So, do you have a movie?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't at all. I would do a quick search here on the internet.
Yeah, I have a movie that if it comes out, I'm very excited about it because of all the talk they've done about it and who's writing it and who's coming back for it. Is their reimagining of Halloween. I'll be excited for that.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's franchises coming back next year I'm really excited for. They're making a new Insidious movie. I love that franchise. The Conjuring is continuing with The Nun. Mm-hmm. The Strangers 2 is coming out. I'm a huge fan of The Strangers. The Meg. So that's another shark movie, Greg. The Meg is coming out next year. Check that out. Look it up. And Jason Statham, I think, is in it. Follow that movie because it's, I think, going to be a lot of fun. A new Predator movie.
So is it going to be like? Is it going to be like a martial arts meets shark horror movie type thing? With Jason
No, it's straight horror. It's straight horror. That Jason Statham's doing. The Predator's coming out. Yeah, I have a handful of movies, but I think like the movie that I really want to see if they do it right. John Carpenter's coming back for it. Is Halloween?
Is the Halloween reboot? I'm looking forward to Goosebumps Horrorland.
Really?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I mean, you like what you like. But my goal next year, and I kind of had the same goal this year, but I really want to go chase every single horror film that I can get my hands on and just like, I want to be that weird dude that sits in the movie theater with a notebook and just like take notes as just from a filmmaker standpoint, you know what I mean? I want to be more educated and yeah, I still want to try to enjoy the movie as a film watcher as well. So
yeah, there was another one you had mentioned. I did a quick look on here about the movies coming up in 2018, and there's one there that I'm curious to see how they handle it because I think the concept is really really cool because it's always a creepy thing. But Slender Man,
yeah.
You know, but I can also see it.
That's one that I'm interested in checking out.
Yeah, but I can also see it just ruining,
butchering it.
Yeah, just butchering the myth behind the whole thing.
Yeah, and that was a thing that was kind of popular. I feel like that train's kind of left the station.
That's what I'm wondering. That's just the thing. Is it too late?
Yeah.
At this point, or can they actually do something with it?
So, yeah. There's a handful of 2018 movies that are coming out that I am going to chase.
Yeah.
The first one being hopefully here in the next 3 weeks is Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water.
Oh, yep.
I will be chasing that one first. So that got a limited release December 1st is when it started kind of going out there. But
because I noticed that was on the top 10 of a lot of people online.
Yeah.
And I was sort of going, well, I didn't think it was
Omaha
released yet. Yeah,
AMC and Omaha got it. We did not get it. And the Ross is like a really good place for it to land. Also, it's not even going to a big theater here. It's going to, where all the indies play at the Ross.
Yeah.
So, and that's a great theater.
And I believe there's a Marvel movie that's landing on the horror list.
Venom.
Venom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's two then. Venom is landing on the horror list, and then The New Mutants.
Okay, yeah, and I don't know
And
anything about
and I
that
think
at
that
all.
is Marvel.
Okay.
I'm not hanging my hat on it, but...
That is my other goal for 2018 is I sent Greg a picture the other day, and it was the phase 1 of the challenge that I'm doing on my own, and that is to watch a Marvel movie a week up until the release of Infinity War. Infinity War? Is that what it is? The new...
Infinity War, yeah.
Infinity Wars, yep.
So I have 6 movies at my house that I have borrowed, and I will be trying to bang my way through those until that movie comes out, so I can see what all the hype is about, because that trailer for Infinity War was nutty bags.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What are you guys' movie watching goals this year?
My movie watching goals is to catch some of those that I did not get this last year. We discussed it in our last podcast, I think it was, which ones from 2017 we didn't see. So there's several of them on there. Unfortunately, a couple of them has gotten bad reviews. Flatliners did not get good reviews.
Flatliners got shit on really hard.
But I do want to see it.
Yeah.
Happy Death Day got some really good reviews, so I want to get on that one. Houses October Built 2, I want to get on that one.
That comes out Tuesday.
So that's part of my plan, is to catch up on a couple of things that I missed this last year, and then kind of stay on top of the new ones. Because I think, it's me and my wife here at the house. The kids are, essentially out doing their own stuff and everything. There's no reason I can't throw in an extra movie a week or something like that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So I do want to stay on top of it. If nothing else for...
Says the guy who watches every movie ever.
I don't watch every movie ever.
He's missed a few.
It seems like you watch every movie ever.
No, that's only when we're doing the marathons.
Yeah.
Because I always seem to
right.
be able to crank it out during that time. No, because if nothing else, it's just to educate myself more so that I can be better with the craft that we do with our own work.
Yeah. Definitely. Education year as well for Midnight Frights.
Yes, definitely. So that's our top 10 and our look forward to... Oh, we didn't ask Greg. 2018 forward.
Movie watching goals, Greg, for 2018.
No, I'm just gonna sit here and be bored by myself while you guys ignore me. Jerk.
Well, we can hang up on you too. So.
No, please don't do that. I actually enjoy this part.
And
I kind of researched into what I want to do for next year and do a movie goal. So with this last couple months of theatrical releases, I want to try and get into the theaters more than I did this year. I feel like I was seeing a movie like once a week with these last couple months with the when Star Wars came out and Coco and all the other ones that I saw in theaters. And I want to try and be a little bit more diligent about going to the theaters and seeing newer movies. With my blog, I'm making a lot of changes this year, this upcoming year, to include some more consistency in posting and trying to be a little bit more diverse in the movies that I post on. Because looking back, I hit superhero movies pretty hard, and I missed a bunch of others that I think people would enjoy. So just trying to be a little bit more diverse and capturing a little bit better audience, or a little bit more diverse audience. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to just watch more movies. So that's kind of my goal, is to just watch more movies, more diverse genres of movies, and just try to be a better reviewer.
And on that note, we should do plugs, Greg. Where can we find your reviews?
If you're looking for some high quality and upcomingly new and reviewed movies, check out gregthemovieguy.blogspot.com. We got some great reviews from the last movies of this last year in 2017, and looking to just ramp it up for 2018. So again, that is gregthemovieguy.blogspot.com.
Patrick?
Awesome. I don't think I've got anything to plug, to tell you the truth.
Nothing to plug?
The only thing I'm going to plug is, believe it or not, there's going to be a final release of Ghost Hunter.
Oh,
believe
did you
it
go
or
back
not.
in there?
A little bit. There's a couple things I cleaned up, and there was one part that I noticed something needed something there. So hopefully that will be done. It's not going to be done by the end of the new year, but it is going to be done by Thursday of this week. And then I'm just going to post it, and I'm going to
let it go.
I'm going to let it go.
All right.
I'm going to let it go. You guys know how tough that is for me, but it's about that cycle time.
Yeah.
It's about that cycle time because that was about the time I got I was done with Love Bites was, about 4 months after
It screened.
Yeah. So.
Otherwise, you can check us out at midnightfrightfilms.com. Gregory has thrown up the new blog, and you can find out what we're doing there. You can also find us at Midnight Frights on Facebook. You can find us on the Midnight Frightcast on Facebook. You can find us on the Insta of Grams for Midnight Frights. And also check out our YouTube page. We have old and new content up there as well, and new things to come in 2018.
So as we say goodbye to 2017, we wish all of our fans and listeners and viewers and everything else a happy new year. And we hope that this new year just brings joy and gladness and a lot of horror film watching for all of you. So with that, I'm saying on behalf of Josh and Greg, Happy New Year, and just have a lot of fun. So peace out.
Boy Scout.
We got it.
Have a bloody new year.